This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here in Brighton. A year on from the last time we was here. It's good to be back, to be fair.
Events, mate. If we've been doing it, doing the job this long, then you sort of lose track. But it's about a year, yeah.
Good to be back. I love Brighton.
You know what? I find it bizarre that there's certain places in the UK, and Brighton's one of them, just doesn't see much like top level boxing over the years. You know, it's been a while, isn't it? Before the last event, I can't even think of the last event in Brighton. So yeah, it's great to be back in Brighton. Cracking show here last time, and you know, live fight, live on Channel 5, which is always nice to have boxing on terrestrial television. I think the rest of the sport feeds off that, and it's a responsibility to put on. I think this fight. Look at McKenna. You look what Harlem Eubank wants to go out and do, make a statement. It's got the makings of an absolute banger, and throw in, you know, the return of Mick Conlon. You know, looking to, you know, we're delighted to have signed Mick. You know, he's one of those guys that I truly believe we can still have that great final chapter in his career, an amazing career, an amazing name, amazing draw. So delighted with that. And you know, on the card, I think we've got 11 fights on the card, March the 7th. Tom Whelan, on the back of a great year. Dan Toward, great year as well. Return of Cody Smith as well. Some of our young guns. Tommy Welsh, I was getting on to him. You can't go to Brighton without having a Welsh involved. I've known his dad many years, and listen, Tommy's a big lad and a big draw locally, so always good to have a good heavyweight fight on there as well.
On Harlem,
Matty Harris returning as well. Matty Harris will be returning on the card as well. So also working Peter Fury, so that's an interesting one.
On Harlem, you said up there about the last performance last time out. You called it back to business, which is what it was. It wasn't very pretty, but he got the job done. Has he got a point to prove because of that performance?
No. If anything, we've got a point to prove because I think, as you do sometimes, we've got matchmaking a bit wrong. I don't think it was. I think the opponent also didn't quite turn up the way he was supposed to turn up. He changed his style a bit from the tapes we'd seen. But these things happen. I think overall of the last, 3 years on Channel 5, we've had so many Fight of the Year contenders and Fight of the Years and Knockouts of the Years. We've had some fantastic shows on Channel 5. But for Harlem was to get over a tricky year. And like I said up there today, it wasn't about fighting King Kong when you come in. When the show's titled Back to Business, it's more about doing exactly what it was. You know, it says it does what it says on the tin. You know, and he did that perfectly for Harlem. And now for IBF welterweight intercontinental, which propels him into the top 10 if he wins. But again, McKenna, look back at his last fight. Live opponent. It's about levels, you know. I mentioned up there what the others are doing around the welterweights in the UK at the moment. I think levels, we've stepped it up. It's, says it all.
Yeah, look, you did mention Adam Azim up there. Is there still a little bit of
face off in the ring last year? I would be a bit stupid as a promoter if I don't mention it. Again, that's that path, and I think Adam Azim's a great fighter. I think he's a great personality, great fighter. I think I can't work out what they're actually trying to do though, in terms of promotional wise around him. He's fighting a guy this weekend. There's a lot of talk. That fight's already done for him to go on the Ben Eubank card. So again, it's talk. I'm not involved in Adam Azim's career at the moment, so that's what it is. I have no idea, but it just, which is by the way fine. But then, if it's all been built up last year, face-offs in rings and all this here, and I'm sure Azim probably as confused as we were at the time. But at the same time, you can't look past it. So it's a fight that will happen down the road, no doubt about it. And big UK fights, they sometimes take time to make. So the Ben Eubank fight getting done now. It took a few years to make that one, but there's in the history of boxing, it's always when you've got big names in a domestic scene in the same weight class, and it takes it can happen tomorrow, but it can also happen in a couple of years' time. We'll see.
Look, you know that when you're getting two fighters in the ring to face off, when the fight's not signed, it can be a bit risky.
I've never done it, so I wouldn't know.
Why was it done
then? You'd have to ask. Ben Shalom that. I don't know. He's the one who did it. I specifically said at the time. I said no. I said you could say we're in advanced discussions, but I wasn't there. I wasn't in the venue. So it is what it is. What do you want me to say? You know, I personally would not do a face-off with two fighters who had not signed contracts. You leave yourself open, by the way. You know. Don't you? You leave yourself open. If you say to a fight, right, you're getting £1 for the fight, do the face-off. I said, oh, what did you say, £1? I thought you said £2.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying the fighter, but agents, managers, advisors, me. But no, it wasn't even that situation, though. But you would, that's the reason you don't do it, you know. I'm going to drive a car I said I bought until I've actually bought the car.
What's the working relationship like now with Ben Shalom, if there is one?
We're not doing any fights together at the moment, as it stands. We're always open to do business with every promoter. We've done so. We've done fights with Shalom in the past. There's no reason why we couldn't do fights. In boxing, you have to work with everyone. You know, if there's an advocate of it, I think I've got to be up there. You know, with the tournaments that I've put together with all the different promoters, with the different fights. You know. Yeah, I promote a lot now in the UK, but I'm not really a UK promoter. I've promoted all over the world. Yeah? So I've had to work with all the promoters since 2.5 decades. I don't make myself sound too old here. But that's what you've got to do. So you don't, I'm not going to say I don't have a current fight with one of Ben Shalom's guys and our guys. So that's what it is. But that could change tomorrow. Might not change tomorrow.
One of the most kind of out there fights that have been announced in recent times, something that no one really was expecting. Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde 3. How did that come about, Kalle?
It's a great fight. It's always been talked about for a long time. Again, you know, Turkey puts together these cards. You know, it's His Excellency's cards. You know, look at February 22nd, and you look at what he's doing in. There's also the one in New York's banging as well. I've just answered the question for you. You know, there you go. Common denominator in some of these blockbuster cards. It's what Turkey's doing for the sport. You know, it's incredible. I mean, if you look at the different cards that are coming up, I mean, the February 22nd one is amazing.
How much of a point to prove has Lyndon got after what happened in the second fight? It was kind of great first fight, and then what happened in the second fight happened. I know he said there were reasons for that, but since you've signed him, he's always said he wanted that fight, right?
I think Lyndon, apart from being a great guy outside the ring, has really delivered for the sport over a long time. And he's very dedicated to the sport. He's diligent. You know, he comes across as quite lax sometimes. Like, you know, he's got this cool sort of coolness about him. But actually, he's a very switched on guy. And, you know, again, people like Pat, you know, I guess you would be switched on. You have Pat as a trainer, you're going to be switched on. Yeah? But he's, you know, got up to that gym in Manchester. I remember the first time I went there, and I was just like, wow, this is proper. This is just smells of boxing block down the road. You know, it's phenomenal, and that's what Lyndon is. True throwback fighter like that. You know, and he's not afraid to go in with anything. You know, and you saw that with the Bivol fight. Obviously, you know, probably for me, technically the best fight in the world at the moment. And went in with him, and had his moment. He had a moment. He had his moment in there, you know. But again, he learned from that fight, and I think that will put him in good stead in the trilogy now.
Means you will be at Ben Eubank.
That's not decided yet. I was wanting to watch it on a remote island somewhere, sipping a cocktail. I'm, you know, people joke, but I'm actually really looking forward to watch the fight. I am. And anyone who says they're not looking forward to watch the fight, and still sees people moaning, why is this fight on? You'll watch it. You'll watch it. That's why we made it in the first place, right? So, you know, I'm just going to enjoy watching it as a fan because I think it's going to be an incredible fight. I really do. I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible fight. I think even better than when we first made it. Even better. For numerous reasons.
Have you seen Chris at all since his outburst, you parting ways?
Do you mean the scumbag outburst?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, come on.
Have you seen him?
No, I haven't seen him. No.
How's that going to play out then?
It's what it is, you know. It's what it is. It's boxing business. Come on, I've been around the block a few times.
If you were still promoting Chris, would you have been happy?
Trying to get something out of me, aren't you?
No, I'm moving on it. I'm moving on.
You are definitely poking though, but I like it. I like it.
You know me. If you were promoting Chris, would you be happy / accept the rehydration clause that is put in place?
It's not really a promoter's business, I'd say, would be my answer.
Yeah.
But with the first fight as well, I was like, okay, I'll negotiate everything, but when it comes to weights, I'm very careful. I'll put it there. I'll put it to him. I'll say, this is what they're suggesting, but you won't get advice from me on it because I'm not, well, I think I am quite I like my fitness and etc., but I'm not qualified to give you advice on rehydrating. Only he knows that. His nutritionist will know that. His team will have some advice. But really, it boils down to it's a very personal thing. So I never knock someone for it, refusing something. And you know, I'll admit, you know, sometimes as a promoter, you do pull your hair out when, you know, it's like, oh, it's only 500 grams, but it's not your 500 grams to make, right? It's not your 500 grams to make. And we don't know what it's like unless you've been there. So, you know, out of all the promoters, I'd say the only one really that can have anything to say in those situations is probably De La Hoya. Yeah. Probably, you know. I mean, my boxing career definitely doesn't qualify for giving out advice on making weights, let's put it that way, right? So, it's a very personal thing, you know, and having been around fighters who've made weight, and by the way, all fighters are different in how they make weight. It's very rare that you see the same, you know, I've seen fighters who've lost it all in fight week, horrendous. I've seen others who've taken a very steady approach to it, and to be fair, with Chris, it was quite often very different in his approach as well. He changed his team in the second Smith fight. Yeah.
2 one-word answers. Who do you think wins the fight?
Eubank.
Who do you want to win the fight?
Got to still say Eubank. We've got so much history, you know. I've never worked with Ben, so despite him calling me a scumbag, I still probably want Chris to win the fight. But I'll abstain from the second question. You know, it's the United Kingdom. I do have the right to abstain from that. Yeah.
You don't on IFL. That's the problem.
No, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, Dave, right. You're right. Actually, yeah. I probably. He did call me a scumbag, though. But again, history, you know, probably am a bit of a scumbag, aren't I? Then, joking aside. Listen, I don't forget. I do remember the whole time I worked with Chris, and that goes back to the days of, you know, promoting him in Denmark on a small show because he needed to get out years and years ago to, you know, going in the World Boxing Super Series with him. And so it's like, I've had my ups and downs with him, and I'm a little bit older than him as well. Not by much, but a little bit. So maybe a little wiser as well. and I can separate that. So yeah, I'll still go Eubank.
Last thing, what's it like being a Tottenham fan at the minute?
Now that is one I'm definitely going to abstain for. I can throw in a cheeky one at the end. Horrible, absolutely horrible. I'm not going to say more than that right now.
Postecoglou in or out?
What are you going to replace him with? Like, I'd like to know what you're going to replace him with. It's all good saying he's out, right? But on the face of it, yeah, technically, I don't know any other Premier League manager who's survived that sort of run of results ever. But let's be honest, we've had Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, who's now third in the Premier League. It's like we've had every top manager at Tottenham. He hasn't really done anything. So, so I don't know. You've got to stick with him to the end of the season. We're still in the cups. Let's have a cup run. We've got a cup run on. I'm going up to Liverpool for the second leg. I wouldn't change it now. No.
That's who you are, mate. See you later.
Might end up going down though if we don't change it as well. So it's horrible situation.
Right, Kalle, I'll see you tomorrow. We shall talk about Michael Conlon, that final chapter.
Very, very exciting news with Mickey Conlon. Very excited, buzzing about that.
And I'm going to get out of you tomorrow. Who KSI's going to fight?
Yeah.
All right. You abstain from that one.
No. I'll be talking about that very shortly.
Okay, Kalle Sauerland, thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. Tune in, buy your tickets, March 7th, Brighton Centre, right here, right now, Eubank versus McKenna. Cheers, mate. All right.